In this video, I'm going to give you my opinion on what I think about Nico Willian and why he should sign for Barça. Because nowadays we're hearing in a lot of media outlets that the number one option is Luis Díaz, which I think is wonderful. I respect that the club, Deco, Hansi Flick, or Laporta want to bring in Luis Díaz as their top choice. Colombian star player from Liverpool. 28 years old, he's been outstanding in the Premier League, and I think he would be a stellar signing for Barça. No one doubts it, no one, but I think there's a huge strategy behind all of this. Because as of today, ladies and gentlemen, I still think that the best player who could come to Barça, not just for this year, but for many more as a club project, is Nico Williams. And why? Very simple. First of all, because of the age difference between Luis Díaz and Nico, Luis Díaz is currently 28 years old. In January, he will turn 29. Nico Williams is 22 today. On July 12th of this year, he will turn 23. That is to say, there is a 5-year difference between Luis Díaz and Nico Williams. 5 years is a lot of years. It's a lot. And I think that to put together a roster and a project like the one we have in our hands, with La Masia as the foundation, with Min Chamala leading the way, and Pedri and company, Pedri Torres, Rafinha, with this core group from La Masia, bad players who are here who are not, with a stellar Barça that has played and competed wonderfully, you have to think about players who will continue to perform for you in the long term. And of course, Luis Díaz, at this age, he's 28 years old, and no one doubts it. He can still give you 3 or 4 very good years, that's clear. But Nico, who's about to turn 23, I think he can give you much more. And there are many arguments to ask for the signing of Nico Williams. What has bothered me, and I have to say it publicly, is what they've said on Cadena Sociedad Española de Radiodifusión. Last night, my colleague Santiago Valle spoke on the Canala Carousel of that Laporta, man, it's Laporta. Is he not convinced about Nico Williams? Because he doesn't want there to be favoritism in the locker room, and for that to cause problems, and so on. I mean, they talk to me about favoritism. What favoritism? I mean, if right now there's already a roster where practically everyone is friends because they're all teammates and they know each other from La Masia. So what's the problem with favoritism? Just because Nico Williams comes, is the locker room going to fall apart? I mean, it's the opposite, right? There's going to be more unity. There's going to be a good vibe. I mean, I think we have to clearly differentiate between what happened with Messi, Luis Suarez, and company back in the day. They were already veteran players coming from a finished cycle, and they were at a time when there was no leadership in the locker room or in the club. And maybe there was a bit of a mess there. I'm talking about Jordi Alba and Piqué, all of that, right? It has nothing to do with it. I mean, it has nothing to do with that situation we had with the so-called sacred cows, right? With La Masia's academy kids, and for a key player like Nico Williams to join the project. Nico has been a close friend of Alejandro Valde all his life, and now he's practically a brother to Lamine Yamal. Very good friends with everyone. Obviously, because they are also, let's not forget, teammates on the Spanish national team. Dani Olmo, Pedri, Fermin Cubarsi, Ferran Torres, Gavi, Eric Garcia. I mean, Nico, argument number 1. Youth, because of his age, he is the right piece. Number 2. A $60 million clause for Nico Williams. Pay it and he's yours. What about Luis Díaz? It's being said in the Premier League that Liverpool wants at least 80 million euros. Although Mundo Deportivo has mentioned that Barça wants to negotiate and wouldn't pay more than 60 million euros. I think when it comes to getting your money's worth from a signing, there's no better player than Nico Williams, right? Since you're spending the cash, which is a lot of money. And let's remember that Barça is still not financially healthy. So, to pay a maximum of 60 million euros, if not for a footballer, do it for a young one like Nico Williams, who's about to turn 23 and has potential. I think, in my opinion, it's much bigger than Luis Díaz. I repeat, Luchito seems like a gem to me, a marvel, a guy who's ready and would go there and compete from day one, but Nico too. So, the arguments about favoritism, that he won't cause problems, or that he's too much of a party guy, to me, I mean, it seems surreal to use that as a reason not to bring him. I repeat and go back to what I said before. I think there's a strategy from the Barça club. Why? Because last season, when it seemed like Nico was going to come, he didn't come. But he didn't come because Nico didn't want to. Just to be clear. The information I have is the following. Nico Willian said yes to Barça and waited as long as he could. Why? Barça didn't provide him registration guarantees. And you just imagine, you have a club like Atletico de Bilbao, which has a very defined identity, a club of local people. With that identity, with your brother on your team, if Barça doesn't give you guarantees, I think Nico did the right thing. I see, as a Barça fan, it really bothered me that he didn't come. But just look at what happened to Dani Olmo, everything that has happened. So I think it's clear that if Nico had come, it would have been a huge problem. He did the right thing by staying at home. And now this year, look at what his own agent, Felix Tenta, did last week. He comes to Barcelona, exclusive from Carlos Monfort, colleague from Diario Sport, and meets with Deco. And he offers the player and says, Nico is dying to be a Barça player? I mean, how much is that worth? How much is that worth? What more could we want? What more could we want? So we have to put our ego aside, put arrogance aside and say, hey, maybe it didn't happen last year, but this year it will. I believe the club is being sold. My number one choice is Luis Díaz. Since Nico didn't want to come, well, now let him give in. Let him give in. Yes, yes. Let him show some affection. Let him do something public. Things have happened, right? Minimal posts a story on Instagram with him. Meaningful things. So I think it's a bit of a strategy so that people in Bilbao don't get too upset either. Because, oh my God, they've really gone after us in Bilbao with Nico Williams. And now, what are they saying? Are they quiet now? Because the agent comes to Barcelona to offer him. And now a lot of people in Bilbao are staying quiet, right? Well, I think what Laporta wants is that to divert attention a little. For people to talk about Luis Díaz, which, hey, I repeat, is wonderful. But I still think that Barca's option is Nico, and that Nico will be a culé, as he has already said, and Barça can go ahead with the signing. The payment of the clause guarantees his registration. I think Nico Williams will be with Barça. That's my opinion. What's yours? Please hit like, share, and leave a comment. It's really important. What do you think, and what's your opinion about this huge news about Barça and Nico Williams? Barça yesterday, today, and always.